Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Adam Mukmin from Group 2. Today, we will presenting about the assignment Eco 2023. Question. Bank Negara Malaysia prediction on the rise in unemployment rate of 4.0% involving 629,000 individuals in this year would weigh on consumer spending. Based on this statement,
explain the effect of unemployment. Effect of unemployment. Unemployment is a common phenomenon. However, a high unemployment rate affects a country's economic growth. The negative effect of unemployment can be seen on the economy, individuals, society, and government. Negative effect on the economy. A high rate of unemployment will cause a big impact on a country's economic activity. The following show the negative effect of unemployment on the economy. Ruin the economic growth. First, high unemployment rate will ruin the economic growth and performance. New investment is needed to increase output. The low level of aggregate spending in an economic recession reduce the desire of investors to make investment. The high rate of unemployment and sluggish activity of firms result in a reduction in their profit. The low profit will reduce the eagerness of investors to make new investment. Second, wastage of production resources. High rate of unemployment forced the economy to operate at a level below maximum. The wastage of resources bring about an output production far lower than the potential output. Reduce real GNP, thus leading to real GNP. Lower the current production capacity and thus prevent future economic growth. Fall in national per capita income. Unemployment causes the national income that is achieved to be lower than the potential national income. Unemployment results in a lower tax collection, hence fall in national per capita income. Negative effect on the individual. Some of the negative effects of unemployment on the individual are loss of livelihood and income, loss of job skill, and loss of confidence.
Next is loss of livelihood and income for countries with no employment insurance. For and survive. They are unable to have a stable income, causing hardship, aggravating and tension in family relationships, creating various types of family problems like divorce and argument. Second is loss of job skill. Long-term unemployment may cause the skill of an individual to study getting them may prove expensive, causing the loss of competitiveness and at an international level. As confidence, and employee may also experience depression because of death and their family and their families. We may have social costs. Example, unequal income, diminished social awareness of status, and frustration. Next is negative effect of the society. First is family dispute, second social problem, and the third is low standard of living. For the family dispute, unemployment will cause households to lose income to support family life. As a result, family relationship are affected and will in turn destroy the family function in a country. Second is social problem. Continuous unemployment will create unhealthy side effects such as being forced to partake in illegal activities to obtain money. Loss of income and expenditure requirement will lead to financial problem in the unemployed family. Unemployed Unemployment will increase the number of poor family in the community. The increase in the number of unemployed will cause social problems such as theft and robbery and threaten social peace. Third is low standard of living. Real and national income is less than the income potential of the country. The standard be achieved if the economy has achieved employment, as the amount and type of goods enjoyed by the population is less than if full employment is reached. Next is negative effect on the government. First is increase in crime rate. Second is quotas problem. Third is social and political problem. For the increase in crime rate, as a result of family instability or poverty, people will resort to illegal activities such as fraud, smuggling, black market activities, debt prostitution, and so forth. Thus, the crime rate will be high if unemployment is high. These illegal activities are difficult to buy the government is when income is low. They may have to fight homes that make more factors the problem and here because there is discriminating and create and hygiene and health in the nation. Indirectly, the country will lose its attraction. That is social and political problems. Low economic activities and the high rate of unemployment will cause dissatisfaction among the populations and government. Criticism and demands will be made to the government. Inflation may occur from other social problems such as theft and robbery.
Question 2B. Suggest three measures to control unemployment. Explain how government use this way to reduce unemployment problem, especially during pandemic COVID-19. Monetary policy to overcome unemployment. The government run expansionary qualitative and qualitative monetary policy which will increase the money supply and hence increase the aggregate demand in order to stimulate economic growth and to control economic recession. During pandemic COVID-19, government applies the expansionary monetary policy to stimulate the economic growth and overcome the unemployment. Firstly, the central bank will reduce the minimum reserve requirement to financial institutions so they can provide more money and loan to public. Secondly, open market operation which central bank buys bond or government security from financial institutions and public to increase the money supply in the economy. Thirdly, reduce the bank or discount rate. With a lower bank rate, the cost of borrowing is lower. Thus, more will borrow and more loan will be approved. Lastly, reduce the interest rate. The lower the interest rate, the more consumer will borrow and spend. All these four expansionary monetary policy is the measure used by the government to overcome the unemployment, especially during pandemic COVID-19. The second one is fiscal policy to overcome unemployment. In recession, the economy suffers from rising unemployment, falling income, and shrinking economic activity. The government can implement an expansionary fiscal policy by increasing government expenditure and reducing the tax rate. This measure will encourage economic growth and reduce the unemployment rate. During pandemic COVID-19, government applies the expansionary fiscal policy to stimulate the economic growth and overcome the unemployment. Firstly, by increase the government expenditure. For example, is increasing expenditure to retain those being retrenched. The government will also increase public spending by undertaking public works program. Besides, reduce the tax rate. Tax cuts are essential to encourage economic activities. By putting money in people's hands, they can start spending again, thereby increasing aggregate demand and restoring full employment. The effect of tax cut would increase the amount of disposable income to individual and business firms. This two expansionary fiscal policy is used by the government to increase the monetary supply in the economy and reduce unemployment.
Direct control policy to overcome unemployment. First is creating a new employment opportunity. Two, upgrade of skill and technical education and retraining. Three, development of new land. Creation of new employment opportunity. New employment opportunity should be created to absorb new labor force entry. Such a move is aimed at creating employment opportunity in field of information and communication technology (ICT), biotechnology, nanotechnology, and others. The planned opening of new land development project as example are Kejora, Johor, Ketengah, Terengganu, and Kesedar, Kelantan has been providing job opportunity especially in rural areas. Second is upgrade of skill and technical education and retraining. Much of the new labor force entering the labor market are unemployed, lack of required skill. The graduate training scheme by the government aim to provide graduate with specific skill to reduce unemployment among graduate. Training and education provided to the unemployment will help to improve computer skill and communication, allowing them to become more confident and employable. Three is development of new land. The opening of new land for the suburban sector will also create job opportunity for the people, especially those in suburban area. It will enable them to involve themselves in the agriculture and animal husbandry sector and thus obtain an income. It will also reduce the migration of the people from the suburban areas to town. In search of opportunity, development of new land is carried out through government agencies such as PELDA, RISDA, and PELCRA.
Support data from 2019 to 2020 analyze labor force participation rate and unemployment rate.
The unemployment rate, the statistic is the unemployment rate from 1982 to August 2020. The unemployment rate from 2019 to 2020 increased 1.4%. On 2019, the unemployment rate was 3.3%. It is remained unchanged until February 2020. However, on March 2020, the graph slightly increased until May 2020. On June 2020, the graph unemployment rate decreased until July 2020. Then the unemployment rate remained unchanged at 4.7% until August 2020. The statistic above is labor force and labor force participation rate from 1982 to August 2020. Based on the statistic, person will register increase in labor force participation rate (LFPR). In 2019, LFPR was 68.7%. In the first month of 2020, which is January, the LFPR was the highest from 2019 to 2020. That was 68.9%. After that, the graph continuously decreased until May 2020. On June and July 2020, the percentage of LFPR was 68.1%, increased 0.1% from May 2020. On August 2020, the graph increased to 68.4%.
Number of labor force and labor force participation. Labor force is defined as people from the total population above 16 years old. The people must be not in any institution, either employed or unemployed. The employment rate is defined as percentage of the labor force who is unemployed but actively seeking employment. The statistics show the change in labor force. In 2019, we can see that 68.7%. Then, for the next year, 2020, we can see that the rate of labor force increased to 68.9% in January 2020. In February, the rate decreased to 68.7%. Next, in March 2020, it decreased by 0.1% to 68.6%. For the next month, April 2020, we can see it decreased by 0.5%, and for the May 2020, the labor force is 68%. That's all from us. Thank you.